What's going on, everybody? Long time no see, right? I know it seems like forever and a day when we last spoke. Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean. We are back today with a news roundup, but eagle-eyed subscribers and members of the UVE community might have noticed there was a stream earlier what was that? It was like 11, right? 11 a.m. or so. Yeah, that was a pic of a scouting report video, basically looking at Bruno Fernandes replacements if he for some reason leaves, or if he can't figure out how to get his turnaround, his poor form to start the season. Go check out that video if you haven't yet done so. I looked at 5 midfielders who are good on the ball, physical, and I think first team ready. So go check that out. This afternoon, though, is the news roundup. So like the video, subscribe if you're new, check out the memberships to learn how you can get more involved in the content, and go check out the UVE store. There is a link in the pinned comment. Brand new designs popping up all over the place, including one I just put up today. Go check that out. How are you guys doing today? Feel like it's been a long day, but it really hasn't. Anybody watching any of these EFL Cup ties? I was watching Wolves versus West Ham. And dude, poor Graham Potter, man. I feel bad for that guy. He just can't get anything going, dude. I don't know what it is about West Ham. They don't really seem to attract the best managers, and they just seem to struggle. But on Wolves, though, I don't get the hype. Somebody can let me know what they think. I don't get the hype with this Andre guy that Wolves got from Fluminense. Every time I watch him, he just gives me Ugarte vibes, and I'm not trying to diss Ugarte, but I just see a lot of mistakes, a lot of rashness, a lot of I just don't see it, whatever. But it is what it is. I started watching Stuttgart in the DFB Pokal match as well. I think it was 2-2 last time I checked, but Angelo Stiller did get an assist. He may or may not have been featured in my video from earlier today. Just saying, go check that out. So yeah, let me know if you guys are watching any matches that are going on right now. Lucky, welcome back. Trying to cite Marco. I always wonder if Marco Alcaraz is a decent enough source or not. I haven't really seen him break anything. I haven't really seen anything that's come to fruition that maybe he broke or anything. Y'all let me know what you think about some of these sources. I need to get an updated tier list when it comes to journos and sources for football rumors. But yes, talking about one of the guys we're going to be talking about today, Danny B. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope your day has been going well since last we spoke. Get involved in the chat too. I did put a poll in there for one of the big things we're going to chat about here in a second, just in terms of all the Colby drama, because we spoke about it at length yesterday. We talked a lot about Bruno. We talked a lot about amorim. We talked a lot about Colby yesterday. The rumors keep on rumoring, as is, the way things go during silly season. That's why we call it silly season. But I asked you guys in the poll, is there something in this? Is Colby kind of kicking up a fuss? Is there some sort of rift? Or is this all just media and fans kind of blowing this thing way out of proportion, making a mountain out of a molehill? You guys let me know what you think in the chat. Hesty, welcome back, Hesty. Don't let Mainoo rumors dividing us. Yeah, everybody. And you'll notice, Hesty, it's always the players that people like, right? When it's Hojlund who doesn't get minutes, everyone's like, who cares? When it's Colby doesn't get minutes, everybody's flipping out. And I'm not saying either way what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know. I'm not an ITK. You guys know I'm not here to break news. I'm just here to get your thoughts on news and basically just chat about it like we're chilling at the pub or something. But it's just funny. There's always a little bit of confirmation bias. There's always a little bit of just subjectivity when it comes to these things. Again, it's just funny. So, but on that, I mean, there's been more Colby drama today, mainly from Jamie Jackson and Jacob Steinberg. If you guys saw some of this stuff in The Guardian, so they both basically, you can co-write articles now, which I don't get it. I mean, writing an article is not that hard to do. It is what it is. But they're reporting that Colby actually wants to leave United, apparently. Not sure where they're getting this from. There's no sources or anything. This is just straight up Jamie Jackson and or Jacob Steinberg just saying he wants to leave. They literally don't even say according to sources or the Guardian understands. It's just he wants to leave. And I'm like, that's a bold statement just to come out and say that. They claim he's being squeezed out of the club. I don't think he's being squeezed out of the club. He just didn't play the last 2 matches. And yes, I can scratch my head when I look at the way Ugarte and Bruno are playing, but again, two things can be true just in the same way two things can be false. So I'm not freaking out about it. I don't know how you guys would feel. I mean, I saw links today from both Madrid clubs apparently are keeping. I don't know where those came from. That's just I don't. I that's just I that baffles my mind. But there's also way more reports that claim he doesn't want to leave. United don't want to sell him. He's in the plans. I mean, it's been 2 matches, I think, and we still have domestic cups, including one tomorrow. Everyone's going to get minutes. Like, I think everyone just needs to chill out, in my opinion. You guys remember when it was normal for a player to like not feature in a match, look frustrated on the bench, and then it was still nothing more than that? I mean, there are periods in time when Gary Neville was told like you're not playing like for several weeks. Like, I've got the match for you, and it's like that's part of football sometimes. It just is what it is. Or better yet, do you remember when players just get rotated? Like, welcome to professional sports. This is what happens. Amorim has basically said as much as well in this Grimsby pre-match presser. He did sort of hint that Cobby could feature tomorrow. I think tomorrow will tell us a lot more than any of the rumors. I think everyone's trying to get out ahead of things at the moment, and just so they can say I was right, or clearly, they've worked it out or something. I think people are really trying hard to get out of it. It's so weird, this race that like journalists have now to try to be the first. They'll throw literally everything they can at the wall in hopes that something sticks so they can just say we broke the news. It's so weird. But so I would wait and see what the starting 11 looks like tomorrow. If Cobby misses out again, then I can think we can start looking at a Cobby replacement video if you guys want me to do that. But what are y'all thinking about this? Hesse said, thought I was panicking for a bit. Not gonna lie, yeah, I mean, it's hard not to like look at some of the rumors, because I think the problem with these rumors is like one person says something and then everybody starts retweeting it, and it just your timeline just becomes inundated with this just rubbish, basically. And so again, I think that we need to just see what happens tomorrow when we see if the starting 11 is released, and it's more like if it's unchanged 11 from what we've seen, or Cobby's just not involved, then I think we can start to have a chat about that, and then we might do something on that. So we'll see. I mean, God, welcome. Amorim needs to be flexible with his formation. And he's basically said, that we do have matches. It's as normal for big clubs. We are going to rotate. Everyone's going to get minutes. That's part we still need to rotate. We've got 3 matches this week is what he said. So I think we'll see some players. Well, I'll get your starting 11 for Grimsby again a little later on today. We'll come back and check in, see if anyone's changed their mind or if anybody has thoughts on that. I'd like to see more than a few changes. I'm talking guys like Maguire, Heaven, Diego Leon perhaps in there as well. Xerxes would probably get it. I think Shesko needs to start for sure. Obviously, Cobby. I'd like to see a lot of these guys start tomorrow, because we need to keep everybody fresh and motivated, most importantly. So, Bexy, welcome back. I think United will spend a bit to get a midfielder before the window closes. Well, they could. I think we could see a lot of outgoings. Obviously, the theme of today is a bit of a clear out. From what it sounds like, we've got a lot of mounting rumors today about Hojlund, Garnacho, Antony and stuff. So we're going to chat about that. I even saw some Onana stuff today we can talk about for a hot second. And so we'll see. It's needed. It's definitely needed. But again, midfield options, go check out my video from earlier. Some of those guys are pricey. Some of them aren't. All of whom I think could easily just jump into this first team and take over for Bruno. If you were to leave tomorrow, you get any one of these players, I think they would be ready to be dropped into that 11 right away. Hesse says, it doesn't make sense. If he goes, we only have 3 midfielders then. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't really buy it. I would even start like Mount like in that midfield role ahead of Bruno sometimes, or at least sub off Bruno and drop Mount deep or something if we need to. I think Cobby can play both midfield. I think he can play as one of the 10s, and I think he can play as one of those 6s. Bruno can play a false 9 if you want to move him up higher and put Mount deeper. There's a lot of things you can do with these players that I think that Amorim just maybe needs to figure out a little bit. Big up, Rob. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Lucky says, Cobby, not for sale. Rob, you have been a member for 1 month. Big up, dude. Thank you for contributing to the channel. Thank you for being a member. You are celebrating 1 month of membership, you guys. Yes, check out those memberships. They're not just cool emojis and badges next to your name. There's opportunities for you to get very involved in the content, suggestions for scouting reports, suggestions for episodes of What If. And then the big one, the Legends members, you get all of that. Plus, Legends members get to join in on the Kickabout. Now, probably, I meant to tell you this, probably not going to be a Kickabout tomorrow just because I might be going to watch the game. Dylan's got school starting up again and stuff. So everyone's busy. But don't forget, if we do skip tomorrow still, next week, the 3rd, is the big rating the transfer window and giving our predictions for the season Kickabout. So that'll be the special Kickabout episode. So don't forget to stop by for that one and get involved in that. It's going to be a fun show. But thank you, Rob, for being part of the membership crowd for a month. Big up, Rob. Always good to have you here. Lucky says we want to rotate for tomorrow, 3 or 4 Shesko. Yes, I do want Shesko to get a start tomorrow. We need to start seeing him. I worry that Amorim might persist with the Cunha and Buemo stuff just because I think he's really trying to play these guys into some form and get them on the goal sheet. But I think it almost might be better for them to come on as subs and just have fun. So we'll see. But yeah, let me know what you think about this Cobby drama. I think I'd rather just wait and see what happens tomorrow and then kind of give a verdict on that. I know for some people that means I'm on the fence. Sorry, ITN. You're always welcome back, man. I don't know why you decided that me not being Amorim in or Amorim out was a thing, but you're welcome back, dude, anytime. So in any case, let's move on to the next topic on the list, which is Antony. Could be a chance we could see Antony finally out of this club after waiting so long this transfer window. We got all this talk about Betis wanting this and that and the other thing. Betis crying poverty left and right. To his credit, Antony hasn't seemed like he's kicked up a fuss or anything. Take a note, Isaac. But it does seem like this could be getting closer and closer to getting over the line now. According to Mike McGrath, who again, he's not citing Spanish sources. He's referring to some reports from Spanish outlets that do say an agreement in principle is in place for Antony to return to Real Betis. The deal will be a loan with an obligation to buy. Now, some sources say this is agreed. Others say that United haven't actually responded yet. Fabrizio Romano claims that there have been meetings held today, yesterday as well. Real Betis are confident in getting the deal over the line. I think they are confident, but again, we can't just bend over backwards and buy this nonsense that they don't have money. They've got money. Like, it's ridiculous. Just pay up, dude. Just pay up, man. Lucky Stings is backing the manager. Big up, Lucky. You should always back them. You should always want them to do good. You're allowed to criticize as well. I just don't think it's on Amorim. I think it's too early to tell either way if he needs to go or if he's going to be the guy yet. So that's, again, just anybody who thinks that they can tell that this early, it's just pretending to be some sort of a genius on Twitter or something. So what do you guys think here? Could Antony finally be out the door? Will we cave? Will it be a loan with an obligation? Will we force a straight sale right up front? Will it be a loan with an option? What are you guys saying about this Cobby nonsense? So 88% of you say nothing to see here. I'm going to end that poll. I'm going to put another one here. What do you think will happen with Antony? Straight sale, loan with option, loan with obligation. I know how to spell. Oh boy, it's funny the things you forget, like maybe the things you take for granted, like spelling and stuff. As we've been just working with smartphones and computers, like there are times where I'll have to handwrite something, and I'm like, that looks like I had a straight up seizure while I wrote that, because we've spent so much time typing and texting, like the little things like handwriting or forgetting or remembering how to just spell things. Sometimes I'll look at a word and I'm like, that word looks weird the way it's spelled, and it's because we just, like, the word against always gets me, and I'm like, that just always looks weird to me. I don't know why. Danny says too early. We just have to let it play out and get behind him, even though I'm frustrated. Yeah, we can be frustrated. Like, you guys know that I'm very frustrated. I've been very critical of Amorim a lot of things, but I've also been critical with Fergie on some stuff. I've been critical with lots of players and managers. It doesn't mean you just have to go to the extreme. Like, it's not black or white. Life rarely is. So Danny can't spell anymore either. Nice. Rob thinks the Amorim outers are out in full force. Yeah. I have to kind of filter that out because pretty much everybody online. Has anybody ever had anything positive to say on Twitter? Like, period? Is it always just where people go to complain and kind of just shout stuff? It's like and just bumper stickers. Like, that's the concept of a bumper sticker, right? You just put your message out there. It's short and sweet, but there's no back and forth. It's just, that's what I think, and everyone has to see it. And I'm not, there's no chance for you to respond or anything. That's basically what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, you guys let me know in the poll what you think could happen with Antony. Again, to his credit, he's been professional. This is why I don't come down hard on him. It's not his fault necessarily that he can't hang in the Premier League. He can't just make himself faster overnight and stuff. He is what he is. He's 26 now. We know what we're getting. It just didn't work out. It is what it is. But unlike Sancho, who also can't hang, Antony's not throwing a fit. He's not going on social media. He's not, sticking up two fingers to United every time he goes on loan. He's not calling himself a scapegoat. Kept his head down, worked hard, and he just wants to go play football, and he wants to go where he feels like he can do that and can do it well. And so, fair play to Antony. I hold him in a higher regard right now than I do Rashford, Garnacho, and Sancho. Malacia is in there too with Antony. It's not his fault. He's just not good enough. Let's get him out of here. Not a problem. Alex ? Guaranteed always sends me through a loop. Short circuits my brain. Yeah, that's a weird one too. The against, I don't know what it is about the word against. Every time I see it written, I'm like, what the hell? But welcome back, Alex ? Let's move on to another winger because we're just a lot of winger talk going on right now. So Fabrizio also claimed today that the representatives of Alejandro Garnacho are confident that a move to Chelsea is going to happen. He reportedly only wants Chelsea, despite apparently a Saudi club, unnamed Saudi club, recently putting in an offer that was quickly rejected. Apparently Chelsea, for some reason that I just will never understand, Chelsea are the club that Garnacho wants to go to, because I don't even know. I really don't know. Doesn't make sense. Honestly, with the way Chelsea do stuff, at this point, I'm almost like, let's just make sure we put in a sell-on clause, because you're probably going to get sold in 2 years to like Atletico or something, and we'll get more money then. So, but Garnacho currently holding out for his dream move to Chelsea or some bullshit. I don't even understand. So, but he did take to Instagram earlier with this weird photo. What do you guys make of this photo? Any hidden meaning behind that? I mean, he's got the ramen noodle haircut going, like Harvey Elliott or Neymar style. Not sure what he's pointing at. Is that a stadium up there? Is that an airport? Is he pointing at the lot of blue in the sky? Is that kind of a hint? What do you guys make? Maybe I'm just like really over analyzing there. What do you guys Bexy says it's going to be soon, surely. Yeah, Lucky. Ignore the keyboard warriors, man. Amin says, unless Amorim is willing to be flexible with his formation, he will get fired. We should get Marco Silva from Fulham. He's tactically astute. I mean, tactically astute and flexible. Hasn't Marco Silva been fired like 4 times in the last 5 or 6 years? Again, kind of like what we said yesterday, we can sit here and say, like, we should play this formation. I think this formation suits our players. But again, it's almost a waste of time. And I'm not trying to come down on you. I mean, I appreciate the comments and stuff. It's just, Amorim is not going to change, and so it just is what it is. I would say if we're not going to buy a midfielder, I would like to see us, play a 3-5-2 or a 3-4, like 1-2, and just move Bruno to a 10. I wouldn't have it's just, if we can't get a better midfielder, we need to just put an extra body in midfield, because we're getting overrun and we're getting outnumbered like left and right. We saw that against Fulham. We were just getting hammered, and Arsenal too, and so. There are ways we can. It's just not going to happen. And maybe that's a hill that Amorim is going to die on. But again, that's why I'm just like Danny said, you just let them do their thing. We can sit here and complain, but it's not going to happen. So now it's either going to work or it's not going to work. It is what it is. And if Amorim has to change his formation, then he shouldn't have been. Like, Amorim changing the formation is like, it's like when you play FC 25 career mode and let's say you start careers, like you start 10 careers with Manchester United, right? But but you want to be different. And so each career you choose a different manager, and you go into it telling yourself, oh, I'm going to play the way that he plays. I'm going to play the way that he plays. But then eventually everybody just reverts to type and plays the 4-2-3-1 the same exact way. we can't do that. We can't do that with United anymore. We have to let Amorim try and get his system, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we can't just ask every manager to play a 4-2-3-1 counterattacking football, because then what's the point of bringing in different managers, right? Like, it's just no point to it. So, I mean, I hear everything and I understand everything, and I don't necessarily disagree with everything. It's just Amorim's not going to change this formation, and so it just is what it is, man. Bexy says, would love Wharton to come. Premier League experience, only 21. He may or may not have featured in my video earlier. You guys can go check that out when you're done here. Don't leave here. Daddy says, they won't buy him unless they get him cheap. I hope he rots in the reserves. Yeah, they're not getting him cheap either. We can't do this. Like, 35 million offer from Chelsea. We want 50 million. We have to stop getting lowballed, and we have to stop doing this kind of shit. Otherwise, it's just going to keep happening. It's like Black Friday sales. I can't stand Black Friday sales. I think they're stupid. I think the fact that they start earlier and earlier and earlier is ridiculous. But the only way it's going to stop is if people stop going. The only way it's going to stop, clubs are going to stop trying to lowball us and treating us like clowns, is if we stop letting them. And yeah, it might cost us a little bit up front, like Sancho wages or Garnacho rotting in the reserves. It is what it is. And the media will come for us too. The media will call us bullies. They'll be like, I can't believe what they're doing. Why would they let him waste his career? A lot of, the same old shit from Simon Jordan, ESPN, all this bullshit. Gabby Agmalnahor is going to come out and talk absolute twaddle. Like, everyone's going to do it. We have to basically, circle up the wagons when this shit and just back ourselves. And so I'm sick and tired of it. The reason it happens is because we let it happen. We have to stop. Lucky says the loan deal has been agreed. I've seen rumors that the deal in principle has been agreed. I just haven't seen anything else that's corroborated that. So, Agile, welcome back, Agile. Good to see you again. Yes, like Danny says, please, please, please. Thank you, Danny. Hit that like button, subscribe. And yeah, big up Rob Always United. He is celebrating 1 month as an official member today. So big up Rob. Good to see everybody getting involved in the chat. But Garnacho, do we take the money and run? Do we just take a low offer and ask for a sell on? Do we just hold out for that 50 million and look at what Chelsea are paying for literally everybody else and say, why? No. Like, you 55 for Gittins. How much did you spend for Modric? Like, come on, dude. Seriously. We're not doing that anymore. Agile says, come on, Sean. It's American tradition to go crazy for a 20% off Markdown TV. Honest to God, I did do the Black Friday thing. I might have shared this story already, but I did do the Black Friday thing once. It's probably like 15 years ago. I'd seen that Target was doing like a flat screen TV, right? And my parents really needed a new TV. So it wasn't even something for me. It was something for my parents, because I was like, oh, I'll be a good son, right? And so we went to Thanksgiving because they do it on Thanksgiving. And I drove by Target like on the way to go see a buddy of mine on the way, just to see, if there's anybody in line. It was probably like 7:00 at night. And then I drive by and I'm like, there's a couple people in line. I need to go get in line because his TVs are going to go. So I'm wearing just like normal clothes, and I go sit outside in front of Target, and it got to be about midnight, and it got to be like below freezing, and I was like, this was a bad idea. So I ended up calling my buddy, and he hunts, and so he brought me all this like really thick insulated hunting gear, and I was like, this is awesome. He hung out with me for a couple of hours in line, and then he went back home. But I did get that TV, and I rocked up early in the morning. It was probably like 2 a.m, and I roll up and I go to my parents' house, and my dad's like, what are you doing? And I put the TV down, and I was like, if I come downstairs and I see you not watching this, if I see you reading the paper, if at any point in time this TV is not on, I'm taking it back, because you're watching it every second of your life until either your eyes burn out or the TV eyes burn out. It's freaking insane. But yes, I have not done any sort of Black Friday stuff. I've gone to Target on Black Friday since, but not for sales. I think it was just for like random shit. But yeah, I just don't get it. There's nothing I need that much, honestly. And anything I need, I just buy. It doesn't really matter to me. So, but if you guys, anybody getting like FC26, it's probably better to just wait 2 months until Black Friday. It's probably going to be like $30 then. So don't be an idiot like me and pre-order it. I just want to start playing early, so I don't like waiting 2 months. But that's probably the best time to get it. So, but yeah, share your Black Friday stories if anybody has them, because it's always fun to poke fun at ourselves for doing stupid shit. So, what are you guys saying in this poll here? What do you think will happen with Antony? 33% of you say it's going to be a straight sale. 10% think it'll be a loan with an option, and 60% of you think it'll be a loan with an obligation. All right, so we'll see. Haven't seen anything confirmed yet, so we'll see what happens there. Let's move on. Let's talk about Onana. Now, I know that some of these are very tentative, but we're going to talk about them because it was in the news. So we got some big claims today from Graham Bailey, who's always got something to say, right, regarding Andre Onana's future. He says, intermediaries have held active talks with a number of clubs about a loan deal for Andre Onana, and we can confirm one of those clubs is West Ham United. So Graham Bailey going out on a limb, putting his neck on the line, saying we can confirm that West Ham have sent representatives to talk to United about a loan for Andre. Now, that's coming from Graham Bailey. Graham Bailey continues and says, Onana's position on his future at United has changed in the last week. Whilst he understood why he was not called up to face Arsenal, the decision to leave him out against Fulham has shocked him and a number of teammates. I don't know what the shock to the teammates is. Maybe they're shocked that he's still fucking here, and that's what the shock is. I'm shocked that he's still fucking here. But I don't know why you're shocked, bro, because, I mean, honestly, it's the lesser of two evils at this point. What would be the lesser of two evils? Onana or Bindy, or neither of them feel me. Honestly, I would start Tom Heaton from here on out until we get a new keeper over the line, because I don't trust Bindy or Onana, like, period. I don't. You guys get your thoughts in on that, because Romano has also kind of rubbished this West Ham talk later on. Indy Kayla, however, came out the other day. I think I saw Indy Kayla actually claim that Real Betis have actually made an inquiry for Onana. So maybe Onana going to hang out with Antony. And I think it's in Andalusia, right? Isn't that where Real Betis is? I don't know. We got a flurry of Onana chat. I don't really know if I buy any of it. I would love it all to be true, personally, but we'll see what happens. Agile, you got a fun little Black Friday story for me. What we got here? My sophomore year in college, I had to quit my job at Walmart because they were going to force me to. So you don't have a Black Friday story. You just left. You left your job because of that. Oh boy. I worked at Barnes and Noble for a couple of years, probably about 13, 14 years ago. Yes, bookstores do still exist. It was so funny because we had all these Black Friday sales, and I remember working Black Friday. I had to be there at like 4 a.m. and I'm like, why are so many people coming to a Black Friday sale at a fucking bookstore? Did they not know Amazon is like? I love books, clearly you can see, but I'm like, I don't get that. There's never ever in my life been a book that I'm like, I need to get up at 5 a.m. to go buy on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, because I need that book right fucking now. Like, there's nothing I need that urgently. When I used to work at Bass Pro Shops, we would have people come in at like 10 minutes before close, and they're like, I need to buy a gun. And I'm like, I don't think we want to sell you a gun if you need it that urgently at like 10 o'clock at night. Maybe go home and maybe just, talk to a therapist or something. Fucking hell. Like, I just don't, but it is what it is. Consumers, this is the world we live in, as someone said. Bexy thinks Onana will go. Looks like he's already out. It's kind of got that Hojlund kind of vibe to it, right? Like, you're fit, because Amorim has said he's been fit, but you're not playing. So maybe Amorim is waiting for Grimsby to give Onana like an easy reintroduction, maybe something a little less pressurized. Fulham are good on those set pieces. That's how we conceded a goal. Onana, not good on those set pieces. Arsenal, again, set piece. Onana, not good. Maybe he's kind of protecting him a little bit, but at the same time, is that where we want to be with our keepers, where we have to pick and choose who to start because we need to protect them from themselves? Like, I don't get it. Like, I shouldn't have to worry. That's a position I shouldn't have to worry about. Like, it's annoying. You guys let me know what you think there. Agile said I was going back to Phoenix for Thanksgiving. Oh, big up. Nice. I've never been. My sister used to live in, I think it's Casa Grande. Is that a place in Arizona? Sounds familiar. She used to live there. She said it used to get crazy hot. I'm not a fan of heat. You guys know that. Mark Harris, welcome back. Hojlund shouldn't be leaving. He didn't get service. Bruno Dalla, Luke Shaw, Mount stays. Go figure. Amorim out. He's clueless. So we got an Amorim outer. Yeah, no, I agree that Hojlund probably didn't get as much service. A lot of people weren't seeing those runs and things, and I think that we also didn't help him with the way we were trying to play him sometimes as a hold-up striker. I've said that many times. You guys know I've defended Hojlund to my almost to my dying breath, but it just got to a point where just the simple things, like it didn't get to a point where it was about just the service. It was just the simple things, the touches, the simple foundational aspects you learn when you're like 5, just the touch, the hold up, the decision making and stuff. It just looked like either he was getting in his own head or whatever you want to call it, but he just wasn't. He was regressing. He was, and I don't know if it was going to be a permanent thing or if it was just a dip in form, a confidence thing. Who knows? I don't think it matters at this point. It's almost moot. But welcome back, Mark. Good to see you again. Hopefully he can go kick his career on at Napoli. I think it would be good enough. Lucky says 2 years long enough. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I would hate for him to go to Napoli and get outscored by McTominay. I think that would make it just not good. Mark says Shesko will not score more goals in the hole in this season. There is a prediction. Well, there's your hot take. Keep that in mind, Mark, when we come back next Wednesday for the special edition Kickabout. We'll be doing hot takes. We'll be doing season predictions. Who's our top scorer? Who's the next Academy star that's going to come through? What the top 6 will look like? Where United will finish? Who's going to get relegated? All that stuff we'll be doing next week. We'll be looking at our transfers and kind of rating the window overall as well. So keep an eye on that. Dylan will be back. Special edition Kickabout next week, you guys, after the transfer window closes. So bring your hot takes and your predictions then. But you can share them now too. That's fine. Sticking with goalkeepers for a second. It sounds like Galatasaray are in for one. They're reportedly looking at Ederson at Man City because Man City brought in James Trafford, and apparently they also now want to bring in Dahmer. That doesn't sound like Pep at all. Replace the replacement. Not like he did that with keepers in the past. Oh, wait. I don't like you, Joe Hart. Who was the guy they brought, the Spanish guy they brought in? Claudio Bravo, right? And then after a season, they're like, I don't like him anymore. Let's get Ederson. Literally don't ever compare Pep to Sir Alex ever. Like, keep my gaffer's name out of your fucking mouth. Like, don't ever compare him. I've never seen a manager get the blank checkbook that Pep has gotten at City. City spent $250 million in one summer on fullbacks alone for this motherfucker. None of them are still here, by the way. He's already replacing other guys in his team. He's already shipped off Jack Grealish after 3-4 years. Complete flop. They don't get enough flack for that. Like, they had Cole Palmer there. Like, why did they have to basically bend the rules to get Savinho when they could have just kept Cole Palmer? Oh, because they needed to sell somebody, because nothing they do is legitimate. Oh, fuck. What we see you got here? Bexy argues that Shesko has more potential. He's a real athlete. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. You guys know, I mean, I made my feelings on Shesko and everything pretty clear. I didn't think he was as good as a lot of people think. Doesn't mean I think he's bad. I'll back him like I back every player that we sign. I want him to score goals. I think that I didn't realize how tall he was until I saw him again. Dude's fucking massive, but we'll see. I think he's got more top level experience than Hojlund did, if that makes sense. Shesko has been the guy for 3 or 4 years now, and Hojlund really hasn't been. So we'll see. I do think that he'll be fine. I don't expect a lot the first season, if that makes sense. Mark says someone give Amorim the address to the academy. He knows. He's been to the academy match. He's been to several academy matches, actually. But I hear you. Jules Naya, welcome. Onana's still better than all our keepers by far. That's a hot take. There's a hot take for you. I'd put Tom Heaton in that before I put Onana in that. You guys know I don't like Onana. I think he's just garbage. He's just a net negative at this point. I've been to 4 matches where we've had Onana, and mistakes in most of them. Galatasaray, huge gaff. Brighton this past season, huge mistake. Like, he's so bad. And the thing you don't get on TV when you're watching is when that shit happens in the stadium, there is a literal ripple effect of just defeatedness. There's groans. There's just this tangible disappointment, this fog of disappointment that ripples through the crowd when shit like that happens. and you hear everything that we say. Imagine 75,000 people all saying the same shit at the same time about the players when they make those mistakes. Like it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Agile says Pep needs to prove himself outside a big club, see if he can get good success. Fergie has done it with Aberdeen. Yeah, I mean, Pep should have come to United. He should have, if you wanted to challenge, if you wanted to maybe show that he should have come to United, but it's just, he wasn't going to get that. It's the same reason Conte didn't want to come, because we weren't just going to give him whatever he wanted, because that's just not the way it works here. It'll all come out in the wash, with all the 115 charges. So we'll see what happens. He did say if you're guilty, he will leave, but we'll see what happens, man. Johnny Hill, welcome back. I'm amorim out because of his mistreatment of Mainoo, to be honest. Also his gaslighting in press conferences. Do you think that he's mistreating Mainoo? It's only been 2 matches. I mean, and Mainoo is a teenager, right? Or is he 20 now? I can't remember off the top of my head. So I wouldn't expect Mainoo to be guaranteed starting week in, week out. Like I said earlier when we were chatting about Mainoo, what the starting 11 looks like tomorrow will tell us loads more than any of the rumors that have popped out in the last 24 hours. I think the media and the fans are kind of blowing this out of proportion a little bit. It's literally just 2 matches in. I don't think there's enough. I mean, Xerxes been on the bench for these 2 matches, and he's not getting any minutes either. Like, I don't hear anybody complaining about that. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't go as far to say that he's mistreating him. I just think a lot of it is spin at the moment. But again, we'll know. I think we'll have a clear understanding tomorrow when that starting 11 comes out. But yes, Galatasaray looking at Ederson. But apparently Galatasaray have also put in a bid for Senne Lammens. In fact, the reports are that they put in a higher bid than United did for Senne Lammens. But apparently Lammens only wants Manchester United. So I couldn't be happier with Senne Lammens. I think that I'd like to look at his numbers again. Why not? Senne Lammens numbers from the last 365 days. Post shot XG versus goals allowed, top 1%. Save percentage, top 7%. Penalty kick saves, top 8%. Touches, he gets a lot of touches on the ball. I don't really care too much about the touches and the shit like that. That just shows like how much time you get on the ball. What I do like is those crosses stop. Top 1% for crosses stop is exactly what I want. He can make saves and he can command his box. That's what I want. Now, he's not going to be a sweeper. You can see he's not doing a whole lot of defensive actions outside the area and shit. I don't care about that as much either. We've got 3-man defense. I don't really feel like I need to worry about that very much. But he makes saves. He commands his area, and he stops. He makes saves, and most importantly, that top stat, that post shot XG minus goals allowed. If you don't know what that means that he's stopping shots that are expected to go in. He's stopping shots that have a high XG. So he's a good shot stopper is basically what that number means. And so I couldn't be happy with that one. I couldn't be happier with that move. Hopefully we just get that done. I was really hoping we would have got that done over the weekend so I just throw him right in the mixer tomorrow and just let him do his thing. But we'll see. Mark says Liverpool rejected amorim due to Liverpool not liking his one formation. I don't think they didn't like his formation. I think the problem was his formation meant that they were going to have to basically just tear up their whole plan and have to basically restart. And that's a big part of it because his system is not what Liverpool play with. The way he plays is not what Liverpool have been building for. And that's the thing, which makes me wonder, what United saw in that. Is that what we're trying to play? Because he doesn't play a very United style, if that makes sense, what we're traditionally used to seeing. But he is a modern, young, up-and-coming manager, similar to like a Nagelsmann or something. And so it's interesting. But I don't think it was just because they didn't like his formation. I think they literally would have had to basically start a whole new rebuild, basically. And I don't think they wanted to do that. And fair play to them. They started their rebuild under Klopp perfectly. They stuck with the process, and then now they're reaping the rewards. Now they've got to a place where they've got Champions League winners. They can afford to just swap one in, swap one out. They can afford to have a deep squad now, and just kind of ride that momentum, because that is what happens when you stick with your rebuild and you get it right. Basically, I still think Klopp is overrated, but it is what it is. Johnny says there were signs last season too. Just think the fact Bruno played the whole game after how pathetic he was. When Amorim said Mainoo was fighting for Bruno's position. I mean, Bruno is going to play no matter what. He's the captain. And I've said many times, and I've said it against Arsenal, he was our worst player. I said it again against Fulham. He was our worst player We spoke about it a long time yesterday. I would suggest going and checking out that video. We had a really good discussion in that one, but something's off with him. Don't know what's going on with Bruno. I don't think it's as simple as he's bad because he's not bad. I don't think it's as simple as he's not a 6 because he's making just stupid mistakes. He's not scanning. He's making poor passes, poor decisions, and it looks like his head's just not here. So I don't know what's going on, if there's legitimate truth to the Al Ittihad rumors, if he just is throwing a little bit of a temper tantrum internally because he doesn't want to play a deeper role. If we're going to play a false 9, just play Bruno as a false 9 and put Mount in the deeper role. Like, to me, that seems like it makes more sense. But it's not my team. Again, this is why I don't get involved in amorim in, amorim out, because amorim is going to make the decisions, and either it's going to work or it's not. It's not up to me. There's no point arguing about it and me ranting about it. He'll do what he does, and either he'll stay or he'll go as a result. And so that's all we can do. But yes, it's always nice to look at Senne Lammens numbers again, because those are fun to look at. What do we got here going on? I'm going to take that off the screen now for a second. Let me get caught up on the chat, you guys. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And Johnny, on that note too, I did say during that match, and we checked in doing some shorts and stuff with Dylan and Justin when they were over here on Sunday, I would have brought on Kabi for Bruno, or I would have brought on, like, I would have put Mount deep, maybe put Shesko on. I still would have brought on Kabi because Bruno was having an absolute stinker. And again, it raises more questions than answers. Do you play a player through poor form? Do you sub off your captain? Like, at some point, Amorim's going to have to make those tough calls, and he's going to have to bench Bruno or take him off. It's just difficult when he's the captain, when he has been our best player. Like, it's definitely out of character for him the way he's been playing. But I hear it. I'll hear it. Mark thinks Bruno needs to be basically dropped. Big up, Box. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Let's see what we got here. Let you guys talk. Box says, since Amorim took over, Mainoo started 15, injured for 8, subbed on for 3, benched for 3. Yeah, and again, I think people forget Mainoo has been injured quite a bit. Remember, he didn't get first team minutes under Ten Hag until November because he was injured in preseason. He's only been playing first team football for a little more than a year and a half. And then even then, he's also been injured for a big chunk of that as well. He really needed to bulk up, which he did, to his credit. But he's also, I'd say this about any midfielder. If Kabi Mainoo wasn't an academy grad and he came in, I would still be saying, okay, he's got to get a little bit more physical. I need to see a little bit more physicality, a little more speed. I need to see a little bit more to his game than just good composure and good, like, on the ball press resistance, because I need to see, if he's going to take over for Bruno, he's got to be able to do some of the things that Bruno does in terms of passing range and things like that, which I haven't seen. And that doesn't mean Kabi's bad. He's young. Developmentally speaking, experience-wise, he's young. It's similar to Euro. The things that Kabi needs to work on, the things that Kabi even struggles with, are what I would expect to see from a player that young. And so I don't complain, but I also don't think that means he should be starting week in and week out. Should he probably come on for Bruno because Bruno was stinking up the joint? Yeah, absolutely. I totally said, and I said that yesterday. I get the frustration. All things being equal, he should be on the bench and he should be coming on as a sub, but all things aren't equal. Ugarte's been shit. Casemiro's too slow. Bruno's been shit. So I get the frustration. I hear it. Rob, legend, gifting 5 United vs. Everybody memberships. Big up, Rob, man. Absolute legend. Appreciate that, my guy. Love the support. Love getting everybody involved. G-Wolf got himself a membership. Muhammad Ali, big up, floating like a butterfly. Luke, getting one. Keith Foster. We got a lot of lurkers. Basically, Rob, what you've done is you've exposed the lurkers in the chat. Lurkers, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video, you guys. I see you now. Rob put you on blast with that gift. It was like a weird gift. Bach says it's a big overreaction regarding COVID. I do think it's being blown out of proportion, but I did say when that starting 11 comes out tomorrow, we'll have a better understanding of if there's any legitimacy to any of this. So Romano says he doesn't want to leave. There's way more outlets saying that there's nothing going on. He doesn't want to leave than there are saying he wants to leave. And so we'll see. Lucky says we're aiming for top 9 or 8, score more goals. Big up. Big up, Rob. Legend, man. Bexy says, I think Bruno doesn't want to play as a 6. That's the problem. It's on Amorim to sort it out. He has to get to Europe this season. That's a big ask. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's a big ask to demand Europe because literally our best shot is winning the FA Cup at this rate. I don't see us gaining that much ground in the league at this point because we still have a lot of the same players. If we score more goals, who knows? But we haven't really scored anything yet. Our only goal so far this season, again, it's 2 matches in, has been an OG. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, that's a big shot. Again, get those predictions in next Wednesday when we have the special edition kickabout. I want to hear all that stuff. It's going to be a fun show. What we got here? Bexley says United need Wharton to control the middle of the park. I keep saying this. He's classy. Yeah, I said it earlier. Go check out that video if you guys haven't yet. I did a Bruno replacement video in case he were to leave or in case he can't figure his shit out. I looked at 5 players who I think not only do what he does, but also maybe suit the system a little more, suit the physical demands a little bit more as well, maybe a little more composed. Go check out that video as well. But Bex says Mainoo isn't as good as Wharton. I wouldn't sell Mainoo. He needs to just rotate. Like he just needs to come in and rotate. And that's all there is to it. But I would definitely maybe think about getting Wharton if we were to sell Bruno. Like I think it's a clean sweep. He'd probably be cheaper than Baleba, but then again, he's not the same as Baleba. Like if you get like someone like a Wharton or a Stiller or something, you also need someone like a Baleba or like a João Gomez next to them to balance that out. If that's or like an Elliot Anderson next to those guys. You need that little bit of that foil there. Bexley says, I think United need Europe. No excuses. You can't spend 200 million and not be up there. I mean, well, we can because we've done it before. And other teams do it all the time. And so, I mean, it happens a lot. So the question is, do you think that just those players are enough to make, a literal 8th-place leap? Are they good enough for that? Are other teams, because again, it's all about what other teams do as well. Other teams who are already ahead of us are strengthening as well. Now you are going to see drop-offs from surprising numbers like West Ham, Bournemouth, Wolves. These guys are dropping off early, but then again, so are we. So we'll see. Dana says Wharton is a 6, Baleba an 8. Yeah, and that's the way it kind of works in any double pivot. One player is always a little bit more creative. The other player is a little bit more physical, defensive-minded. And when we are moving the ball forward, that creative player is going to move forward a little bit. The defensive player is going to kind of swing in. It's going to kind of look like one of these numbers, and then vice versa. Now, it's kind of like an old school 4-4-2 in that regard. But again, we don't have the players for it, and we're getting kind of outplayed, outran, and just outnumbered in midfield as a result. And so we really need midfielders. And we've said that going into the summer as well. Buck says, I know they got 120 million for Caicedo, but I don't think it's crazy. Oh, I always think it's crazy. The fees are ridiculous. There's no way, but they have no pressure to sell. Like it's the same if someone were to come in for whoever your favorite player is on the team. We can ask for whatever we want. Look at what's happening with Garnacho, and that's a player we don't even really want here anymore, and we're holding out because Chelsea are trying to be cheap little pricks about it. Dude, Todd B, go sell another fucking hotel, come back with another 15 or 20 million, and then we can chat. But otherwise, fuck off. Like, go play with Gittins, because that's who you spent 55 million on. So I don't know what the hell he's thinking, dude. Yeah, the market is insane, and that's kind of like getting back to what I was saying about Black Friday. Market box is just another word for human behavior. Market is dictated by human behavior. Again, all it takes is a couple people to stop going along with the status quo and things will change. Stop giving into agent and player demands. Stop giving into lowball offers. And just it's enough to start shifting the tide a little bit, if that makes sense. I kind of went economics on you guys a little bit there. Danny wanted Rios. Yeah, keep an eye on Rios at Benfica. He's looked all right. I wouldn't say he's looked amazing. He's looked all right. I'll say that much. He's definitely not João Neves, that's for sure. Box says, I get players of the ilk of Mbappe or in the past Ronaldo, Zidane, but these days it's DMs. Well, maybe it shows you the value. For the longest time, goalkeepers and defenders were way undervalued in the market, because people like goals, right? They love the wingers, they love the strikers, but you can score 3 goals and still lose if you concede 4. And I think in the last 7-8 years, you started to see how valuable defenders have been. Guys like Van Dijk, for instance, Harry Maguire went for big money. Gvardiol went for big money. Keepers, Allison went for big money. Kepa as well. Like, and that's not me saying that I like that. Like, I don't want to spend 85 million on a defender, but it's just that is what it is now, unfortunately. But I do agree the prices are absolutely ridiculous. Like he says, press conference, we have a game tomorrow, Saturday, so now we want to give fringe players game. It's just about rotation, and if it's not even fringe players at this point, it's just it's a squad game. You need more than just the 11 that your strongest 11. People need to rotate. You need to keep people fresh. You need to give your starting 11 players a rest now and then. Like, as much as we used to love guys like Scholesy and Carrick and whatnot, you had guys in there like Shazy and Wes Brown and stuff who on their day would just show up and do a job. I mean, Fergie played 7 defenders against Arsenal and beat them 2-0. Like, you need all that, and you can have that. We want to have strength and depth. We don't want to get to a point where, somebody like Ahmad is on the bench and we got to deal with someone like Dallo. We want to have better quality as well. So, Buck says, how much you reckon Prime, Stam, Ferdinand, Vidic? Oh, man. It would take you literally 300 million to sign all those guys. If you want to get super nuts, talk about like Prime Scholes, Prime Keno. Yeah, it's not. Nobody could afford it. I would just say don't bother. You're not getting any of these guys. Bexy says, what happens if United lose to Burnley on Saturday, then lose to City? Well, then we might have to have a little bit of an uncomfortable conversation. Burnley, I'd be a little more concerned about if we lost to, because again, like Fulham, that to me is more of what we could those are the kind of teams that tend to give us trouble because for some reason we show up against the big sides. When Amorim beat City last season, like and unfortunately, City is one of those games you don't expect to win necessarily, but it's the Burnleys, it's the Fulhams, it's the Bournemouths, it's these teams, these Brightons. These are the ones that we need to start showing, because these are the ones that cost us a lot of points last season as well. These are the ones we need to stop struggling against. We dropped points, in my opinion, to Fulham because we just didn't show up. The performance was god-awful. We can't do that. That, to me, is going to say much more about what the progress has been than, did we, manage a scrappy win against City or take points off Liverpool or something. We did that last season. I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm saying we need to get points where we're expected to get points. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that to me is a bigger sign of where we're at. If we can start hanging with the players that from the opposition who maybe on paper aren't as good, but they've got fight, they've got energy, they're up for it. That's where we lost the battle last season, and we need to do better. Buck says, ideally we stick a few goals versus Grimsby going to Burnley confident. I mean, I don't take anything for granted. Remember when we were up against Coventry and they came back and took it to like dying minutes? I don't take anything for granted. Put 4 past them in the first half and then we can talk. But these players they just don't want to show up. Big up, Jarvis. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Always a pleasure. Jarvis, did you check out my the video we did yesterday on Bruno? I know that you and I have had interesting discussions here and there about Bruno and stuff, so I'm always interested to hear what you have to say. Let's talk about Rasmus Hojlund for a second here, you guys. Make sure you make sure you subscribe. I love to see the community grow. Rob always has gifted some memberships today. Remember, those memberships help you get involved in the content. Legends members can even join in on the Kickabout show that we do every week. Remember, no Kickabout tomorrow. Do one next week. It is the big season prediction blowout, so be sure to come back for that. What we got going on in here? Bach says, I said we'd beat Fulham 5-0 after we dominated Arsenal. I called it 2-1, and honestly, it should have been 2-1 if Bruno had buried that pen, but alas and alack. So on Hojlund, so Fabrizio Romano kind of gave us a little bit more clarity on some of the details of this proposed loan with an obligation move to Napoli. Again, Hojlund's not been included in the squad at all, not even on the bench. So again, pretty clear message there. Rumor was that when it came to his new club, his reps were telling interested parties, like, we want an obligation. He basically doesn't want to be in this situation again in the summer, like we've seen with Rashford, like we've seen with Garnacho, Malacia, Antony, where we're once again struggling to find buyers. He doesn't want to be in that situation. Lukaku picked up that injury. Napoli came calling, like I sort of predicted they were going to do. Now, Romano claims that the deal is pretty much done, but again, he also gave us some clarity. So apparently, when it comes to this obligation, it's not a guaranteed upfront obligation. There are caveats and addendums and criteria that need to be met, two of which are appearances and Champions League qualification. I don't think we have to worry about Champions League qualification. I think Napoli are pretty much dead cert for that. Appearances can get a little iffy because you always get that sometimes those weird clubs where they'll maybe just not play a player when they're about to hit that threshold because they don't want to be obligated. Again, he could very easily go to Napoli and be outscored by Scotty Mac because Scotty Mac's already off to a flying start. Big up Scotty. But it's interesting. Do you think Hojlund is going to end up at Napoli? Or do you think that maybe he'll stink up the joint? They won't play him? Do you think, what do you see happening there? He did well. I guess well is relative, right? For a young player at Atalanta playing counterattack football, filling in for an injured Zapata 3 years ago, he did about as well as you can be expect, right? We definitely overpaid for him. He shouldn't have been our main striker. We've talked about this many, many times. And his first season, honestly, Hojlund did way better in his first season at the club than I ever imagined he would do. So fair play to him there. It's up to debate what happened last season, but it's a freaking ridiculous. The Box got a little carried away. Yeah, he definitely got carried away a little bit, Box. Box says, I think Conte could be good for him and learning from Lukaku as well. He's a vet now, proper CF. Yeah. We'll see how they play him. That's going to be the interesting thing because I think big part of what Hojlund's struggles did have to do with how we utilized him. He's not a hold-up player. He's really not this poacher like, Lukaku. Hojlund needs to get some space to run. He's definitely more of a Vardy than like a Haaland or something. Yes, he's a big guy, but he's not that guy. He wants space to run into. And that's what he was. He's a counterattacking striker. He can maybe develop in different ways. Who knows? Maybe it's the pressure of United. Couldn't tell you where it went wrong. I don't really care about the whys as much as the whats these days because that's usually the most important. We can sit here and talk about it till the cows come home and not going to change the fact that it just didn't work out. So we'll see. Supposedly it's like a $5 million fee with maybe a $35 million obligation. So which would basically see us break even on that as far as PSR is concerned, which at this point, it seems like everything's got to filter through PSR now, but it doesn't seem like we care. We extended our line of credit. We whipped out mom and dad's credit card, and we're like, everybody's getting everything. We're just buying everything. It's insane. So, Box says sometimes they play a 3-5-2 with Raspadori. Interesting. Yeah, I don't watch a ton of Napoli in Serie A. I don't really watch a lot of Serie A altogether. I'll watch way more Belgian and German football than I will watch Serie A. I'll probably watch more championship football than that as well. But it's interesting stuff to going on. So we'll see. Again, if he goes there and he does well, the rhetoric, you're already seeing it from everybody. I think Ruud Gullit just came out with it again. Like, it's United that's the problem. At what point are we going to stop assuming that just because you played football at a high level that means you know a lot? I'm not saying I know more than Ruud Gullit, but like it's just clickbaity like weird takes at some of these like pundits. So because a player goes and does well at another club and not United, United has to be the problem, right? It's kind of just lazy oversimplification in my opinion. Now, we did that video a couple months ago. Were we wrong to sell McTominay? You guys can go check that out. I did a pretty in-depth look at the differences, not only in the leagues, but the way Conte uses Scotty versus the way we were using him, the different roles, the positions, all that stuff, heat maps. Go check that out. You can decide for yourselves. It's not as simple as United are the problem. Like, it's not that simple whatsoever. So let's see where we go here. Mark says, question for Sean. Will you be amorim out when his record stands at 7 wins from 35 games? There's one thing you guys will never hear me say ever, and I've done this with any manager. I'm never one of these people that's going to be like amorim in, amorim out. Again, at that point, it wouldn't matter. Like, if it's 7 wins in 35 games, then you're like, well, it doesn't matter. He's got to go. It is what it is. It's not about whether or not I think someone is in or out. It's not up to me at that point. If you get 7 wins out of 35 games, then the writing's on the wall. So it is what it is. We keep rolling. It's like a train, man. We just keep on drumming, and it's up to everybody else to jump on board. Mock says it's 50-50 regarding success stories after leaving United. One person thrives, another one fails. That's life. Yeah, I just don't think it's as simple as United are the problem. Like, it is what it is. There's so many factors involved. Again, the physicality league. Everybody wants this. All these English pundits want to sit here and say, "Well, this league is the best league in the world. It's the most physical league. It's the most demanding, most exciting." And then when it's a United player though who's not working out, it's the United have done this, or when they leave, it's United's a problem. Like, why is it not that they couldn't handle the league? It's that United are the problem. Like, again, this is how you spot an agenda, and I'm pretty good at it by now. I like to think I'm pretty good at spotting the agenda. So, because it's always low hanging fruit to pick at United. It's nothing new under the sun when it comes to that. So the trick is just spotting and just ignoring it, because other people are going to run with it. So, but let me know what you think about Hojlund. I guess it doesn't really matter now. He's pretty much not involved. He's out the door. So, moving on, we got a little bit of news here. Potentially another outgoing. This time it's a youngster. So according to Ben Jacobs, Croatian side HNK Rijeka. I don't know how to pronounce it. If somebody knows Croatian, let me know. I might have just butchered that. But apparently they have made a loan offer for Ethan Williams. Now, going to the Croatian league, is that a good step for someone like Ethan Williams, who was almost in and around the first team picture not that long ago? I think he went on loan already too, if I remember correctly. Was he the one who was at Lausanne Sport? Somebody remind me. The youngsters, especially guys that are on the fringes, Kokonki even could be starting to get there soon, because he's looked amazing. He's such a big guy, and he's basically a Joshko Gvardiol Kokonki. He bombs forward from that left-sided position. He's really, really good. They're getting to that point where they need to start going on loan. Now, Dan Gore was on loan at Rotherham. I think they played today. I don't know if he got minutes or not. Ethan Wheatley, I think, got his first goal the other day. These guys need to go out on loan. So let me see what you say. Is that a talk sport trash? Yeah, they are. But yeah, Ethan Williams potentially going on loan in Croatian league could be a good move for him. We'll see what happens. Amorim gave us a couple updates on injuries, including a certain Nusair Mazraoui. He was asked, who's fit, who's not, basically, and he was asked specifically about Mazraoui. He said maybe he's going to return next week. We will see. But he is near. We're just finishing some drills with him, going to be sure he's not going to have another problem. So apparently he's just having some issues in Noose, and we're trying to make sure that the issues don't persist. I'm starting to worry a little bit about some of these guys, just the little niggling stuff that just does not want to go away. I wouldn't risk Mazraoui tomorrow. I probably wouldn't even risk him in the next one. I would just let him recover over the international break, just to really get him fully in there. Let him play some 5v5, some 11v11s on the training pitch with the squad, whatever you want to do. I wouldn't risk it right away, because I think he's too valuable. I don't want to see it just go another couple months out. But I definitely don't think he's in contention for Grimsby match tomorrow. But what would your 11 be tomorrow? While we get back to that, again, I'm still bummed we didn't get Lammens over the line. I would have loved to see him kind of come in and just start right away, but I think that was probably a pipe dream. Box says Amas needs a good loan, has had about 20 offers, but club trying to find a place with guaranteed play time. Yep, and you guys know that's Johnny Evans' role now at the club. He's kind of in charge of helping these players find these good loans and getting those over the line, and he'll know that it is about minutes as well. So it's always iffy. You want to make sure it's a good club that values that kind of stuff, and like you said, when he's going to get playing time. So I don't have anything wrong with that. What are you guys saying about Antony, by the way? 50% of you. It's pretty almost split between a straight sale and a loan with an obligation. Interesting. But let me know what changes you would make tomorrow for 11 against Grimsby. They are in League 2. I did rattle off some numbers. They're actually doing pretty well in League 2 now. They're up there in terms of the XG, possession won in the final third, goals scored, all that stuff. They're actually doing pretty well. Exactly the kind of side that could give a switched off defense or a poor, midfield in Bruno if he starts for some reason. Exactly the kind of side, the high energetic, high pressing side that could give us problems. I don't take anything for granted these days, like I said, especially the way Bruno is playing, and especially how shaky we look at the back with these balls into the box. But let me know if you guys have any changes. Rob says, aren't we getting Lammens now? Who knows? Supposedly it's almost there. I was hoping we would get it done over the weekend so he could be in here and just throw him right in and just look at Onana and Binder just with a smile and say, sorry guys, you're shit. Sorry, not gonna happen. Mark says, I would play the under 23s whole team. Yeah, I said yesterday, just burn it down, start everybody. I would go with like Heaton, Fredrickson, Diego Leon, Maguire. I would put Heaven in there as well. Mainoo gets a start in there too. I'd probably even put in like Fletcher or somebody in midfield. Shesko for sure needs to start. Everybody just Xerxes, throw them all in. Everybody who has not played, play. And then you can make changes in the second half. Treat it like a friendly at that point. But again, if we're up by like 4 by halftime, awesome. Bonus. Box, what do you got here? Heaton, Fredrickson, Maguire, Heaven, Ahmad, Ugarte, Mainoo, Leon, Mbumo, Xerxes, Shesko. Yeah, almost pretty much what I would say as well. Maybe there's a chance maybe you start Bruno in one of the 10s to kind of get his mojo back a little bit. Maybe that just helps him kind of get back in the swing of things. I could definitely see Amorim doing that. He is the captain. But then again, if Maguire starts, Maguire will probably rock the armband. Who's our vice captain? I meant to. Does anyone know? I don't know off the top of my head. Let me know. Do we still have a vice captain? Danny's going Binder, Dallo, Fredrickson, Maguire, Heaven, Leon, Ugarte, Mainoo, Xerxes. So pretty much similar, other than the keeper situation and Dallo. Because Ahmad's been, I need Ahmad to get kind of in the swing of things. I need our attackers to start scoring goals. I need them to just break that duck real quick. It's only been 2 matches, so I understand that, but I don't think any of our new signings have scored. Did Cunha score in preseason? Someone remind me. I can't remember now. But we look fit. I will say that, but the performance just wasn't there against Fulham, man. Danny's going Comison instead of Dallo. All right, good shout. Yeah, I'll just start Heaton, dude. Mark wants to promote Kai Rooney already to the first team. It was pretty cool to see Kai come on. I mean, he's basically as old as his dad was when his dad made his debut for Everton, right? And so he looks good. If there's anybody that young in the academy that I'm throwing in the first team for Grimsby, it's going to be JJ Gabriel because that kid is an absolute baller, like straight up bouse. He's just so dirty on that left-hand flank, man. He looks a step ahead of everybody, dude. It's insane. Danny says no, Bruno. Lucky wants to put in Xerxes, Ugarte, Shesko, Maguire, maybe younger midfield. We don't really have anybody else. Collier's on loan now, so he's not there. Sekou Kone got injured, or else I would have maybe started him. I don't know if he's fit enough to start yet. He's going to be wearing a mask like Osimhen now. So Bach says hopefully give some debuts off the bench. Fletcher, Thwaitia, good shout. Montato, Kukanki. You guys know I like me some Kamison, Montato. Kukanki looks good. We need to keep everybody fresh. We need to keep everybody happy for sure. I wish we would have signed like Lammens earlier, but it is what it is. Rob doesn't think Mbumo looks fit. Yeah, he doesn't look quite match fit. Now remember, he was one of the later ones. He and Shesko were signed a little later, and so they didn't have as much time in preseason. Obviously, they weren't privy to the individual like training and nutrition stuff that the other members of the squad were. Like even Cunha got a lot of that because he got here early June. So it makes sense. It stands to reason they're not going to be quite up to speed. But we'll see. I don't think he looks bad, but he definitely doesn't look quite himself necessarily. So, but get your thoughts in on Grimsby. Also, you can get your score predictions in there while you want. I'll go 4-1 United for Grimsby. I think that this is one of those matches that we definitely needed to call it a tune-up match, right? We just definitely need something like this. I don't take it for granted, but we definitely need that. So on while we're talking about Amorim a little bit, what do you guys make of Amorim's remark that we're not ready for Europe quite yet? He said, I think we were not prepared to play Europe. That is my feeling. To have strong games in the Champions League and then play Premier League, we need time to develop as a team. So Amorim's kind of saying, honestly, what a lot of people said, like, not only do we not deserve it, but we would get slaughtered with the way we played last year in Europe. If we rock up and we have to play someone like Real Madrid or PSG or Barcelona or anything, we would get absolutely slaughtered. It is what it is. Again, contextually speaking, look at what happened last year. We not only would not deserve it because we fucked it up in that final, but we would not handle it. But I think I both agree and disagree with his comment because I agree with it. We're not quite there quality-wise. And even though you want to be in Europe, right, you always want to be in Champions League. I wanted us to win. It didn't matter if we got knocked out. We were still in Champions League. But I'm not going to lie. I am getting more than a little impatient with the constant "we need time" excuse. Like I'm not amorim out or anything because of it, but it will run stale very, very, very quickly. Not only for me, it's already run stale with a lot of fans. It will run stale for me the more it comes out. Every time we drop points, I don't want to see that as an excuse. It's like, just stop. Do better. I don't need that. Do better. I'm not gonna say amorim just loves to talk in front, because he doesn't like talking in front of the camera. He's trying to be as diplomatic and as stern and honest, but also as protecting of his players as he can. But this excuse has got to stop. Like, just say, like, we need to do better. Like, I would rather you just say it wasn't good enough, we need to do better, than just keep saying we need time. Like, I don't want to hear it. And I'm not saying he has, like, I expect to win the league right away. I'm just saying, stop saying it. Just stop saying it, dude, for real. Box thinks amorim is a bit too honest, and maybe he is a bit too honest for some people. I don't have a problem. I think if you look at the different ways that managers are honesty, I do think that your personality as a manager can sometimes make the honesty a little easier to take. Like, would you rather hear a message, like the same message, from someone like Mourinho or someone like an amorim? Would you rather get it from Ollie, or would you rather get it? I'm not trying to say we cater to and we try to, like, treat the players like little snowflakes or anything, but I think it's more about personality and the way that you deliver things. I think sometimes certain personalities are just easier to vibe with, if that makes sense. So I don't have a problem with it. Danny's going 3-2 United. Danny's calling a close match. Interesting. Mark does not think we're ready for the Premier League. How much time? 7-8 years. Well, the whole plan is by 2028 to be challenging for the league. And it does seem like Ineos are really pushing. They've made some big signings. We did make a push for Baleba. We could still get Baleba in before the end of. Who knows? I really don't know. But it does. I mean, Sir Jim's not young. He's not going to be sitting around for 8 years waiting for this to happen. He's going to do everything he can to try to make sure we put us in the best position. Now, he's not going to agree with everything he does. I don't agree with everything he's done on and off the pitch. But that you have to think he's at an age where that's just what he's going for. So Mark says, United need to stop amorim interviews. He doesn't want to do the interviews. We put up those numbers several months ago with how many interviews United, like, he's had to do already, and it's crazy. He's complained basically about how many interviews he's had to do. He doesn't like it. I wouldn't like it. I can't imagine, like, but that's just part and parcel when you're United manager. This is the kind of shit you have to deal with. I would hate it. I would absolutely hate it. I've said many times. You guys ever watch Ted Lasso? Roy Kent, towards the end of that first season, or that last season, that's exactly how I would be. I would show up with a blank checkbook, say whatever the hell I wanted, and then just write down a number for however much I get fined, because I wouldn't care at that point. And the moment someone repeats a stupid question, or the moment someone asks a stupid question, I'm calling them out and I'm ending the presser. That's how I roll. I don't have time for this nonsense. Box is calling 3-0. Like the confidence. You did call 5-0 against Fulham, though. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be 1-1. Agile says, Chelsea hoping to agree a bargain 25 million fee with United for Garnacho. We need to tell them to just fuck off. Bexy said Ten Hag did that last season. We were getting better, but losing. The fans have played Football Manager or played FIFA. They understand tactics when they work or don't. I mean, I do think we looked really, really good against Arsenal, but then it was night and day against Fulham, and it's just, I don't know what the difference was. Maybe we just don't travel well. Maybe it's like trying to, get takeout French fries and hopefully they stay crisp by the time they get home. That distance for some reason just killed it. I don't understand. Bexy says, I'll say it again. Amorim needs Europe. Ineos ain't playing. Yeah, and it's up to him. He and the players got to figure it out, because Ineos will not hesitate to swing the axe. We talked to Xavi Hernandez last spring. He's still without a job. There are other managers that are probably going to be fired soon anyway. Iraola is struggling. If had Iraola kept up his performances from last season at Bournemouth, which I feel for him a little bit, he lost basically his entire back line. So I do hear him. If I'm Iraola, though, I'm walking from Bournemouth. If they don't help him out a little bit, I'm like, fuck this. I'm out. I'm not letting my fucking reputation take a hit here. I'm not saying that I'm already planning for life without Amorim. I'm just saying that Ineos have spoken to more than just Amorim in the past, and so they've sack Ten Hag literally months after giving him a new contract. They will not hesitate. They don't care. They'll do it. Rob is throwing out the Glazers out emoji. Big up, big up. Jay says, of course he knows we need to do better, but we also need time to get there. These things don't just happen overnight. Klopp had been at Liverpool for 9 years and looked the connection he had. And I've said that too. Klopp took how many years to get started? He got to a Europa League final his first season when he came in, October, November, and he lost that final too. The difference is Liverpool stuck to that project and backed Klopp and backed that whole thing and were patient. We just haven't ever done that, potentially until now with Ineos and Amorim. And so we'll see. He does need to do better, though. His tactical decisions, his team selection, his substitutions, they do get on my nerves. I've never shied away from being critical when it's warranted, but I think that I just don't go to the extreme like a lot of fans do. And I don't think you guys do either. And so I think that we have at least a level head between a lot of us. We've got at least one level head. So Chelsea's bids are decreasing. Yeah, he's not. Alejandro Garnacho might not be going anywhere if he doesn't fucking just tell Chelsea to pony up, dude, for real. Mark thinks that United seem fixated on employing managers with no Premier League experience. Is it a cost thing or are they just dumb? Well, I don't. If a manager's got Premier League experience, they're either they're either at a club like City or like Arsenal where they've been there for a while, or they're constantly getting sacked and rehired. And so I don't know if I don't necessarily think that just Premier League experience is a thing to go with. I mean, Mourinho had a Premier League experience and everybody wanted him gone. I don't see how that helps. There are managers out there that I think, maybe it just comes down to do you want to keep catering to the players that we have, or do you want to finally back a project? Do you want to finally get behind somebody? What is it going to take for Amorim to show you that? What would it take for you to say, yep, this is a guy that I can stick behind? What would you need to see? Because that's going to be the true thing. You're not going to, you said it yourself, it's not going to be an overnight process. And I've said that many times. Rebuilds take time because you're building, you're not just buying, but the manager's also got to show us something too. He's got to show us that faith and that backing is warranted, because it's not even just about buying players. The club backed him with Rashford and Garnacho as well. These are big calls. He's been backed. Now he doesn't have all his players. I still think we need an entirely new midfield and a new keeper, but he can't say he hasn't been backed. I'm not saying I demand to win the league, but he's got to do better than what he did last year for sure. Thames again, welcome back. Said, please, Ineos make a plan for Fermin Lopez singing United. Fermin Lopez, I heard that name today earlier. Jay says, with the fans, I cried watching Klopp send off. That's the type of feeling and connection I'd want as a fan. Not this constant chop and change when it all doesn't work out. No, I agree. We definitely don't want to keep doing this. But that was a different ownership, and I think that's the difference that people seem to be forgetting. They keep people. I'm not saying you're saying this, but I've seen a lot of people get tired of that and blame and basically lump Ineos in with everything that's come before. And it's just, they've been here literally barely a year. Barada literally got here a year ago. He wasn't even, Wilcox, Barada, these guys weren't necessarily even in their jobs by the time the transfer window was basically done for us. They didn't even have time to do anything. So we're just now, in this past season, starting to see them cook a little bit. Have they gotten it perfect? No. They haven't. Are they doing stuff? Yeah, they are. The Carrington stuff, it's a big deal. So Danny says Amorim's probably going to be gone before Garnacho. Fucking hell. Oh, boy. Bexy says, we played well against Arsenal but lost. Yes, I thought we were by far the better side, and I saw a lot of good signs against Arsenal. But again, is that more the case of us showing up against the big sides and just kind of maybe walking in, taking things for granted against the Fulhams of the league? Sir Jim Rafka's billionaire. You will press the self-destruct button with ease. United need points. I feel the 10 EPL games is an important mark. Yeah, 10 games, a quarter of the season. It's probably a good way to look at it, but we'll see. Bach said, yeah, Moyes had PL experience too. Yeah, it's not always just about Premier League. Whether you're a player or a manager, experience, failure is also experience, I guess. I've never been fully convinced on Eddie Howe. Again, there are Premier League managers that I would give a chance to. I do think what Iriola did with Bournemouth last season was really, really good. I think he did a very good job. I had him in with a shout to replace Pep for a second if Pep were leaving, but I do like Nagelsmann a lot. But again, he plays a back three. A lot of people don't like a back three. Now, he did switch it up a bit at Bayern, so maybe that shows a bit of flexibility. and maybe more principles and is a little bit more strict than simply just formation. So I really like Nagelsmann a lot. I really liked Hansi Flick too as well, though. So Mark would like to see Bruno Dallo benched for the next 5 games, but Amorim will never do that. Favorites FC will be his downfall. I mean, Dallo didn't start the last game, right? I mean, Ahmad started, so I think that Dallo is one I would definitely sell. You guys know I don't rate Dallo too highly. Bruno is just, it's always going to be, you're never going to see Bruno necessarily get dropped. I think he should be, but I just don't see. I don't think no manager's dropped him. Like even if he's maybe had a bad match, like nobody's dropped him since we signed him. So the only time he's missed games is really when he's been injured, and he's only been injured like 2 or 3 matches. So, and we lost all those matches. So Warbzo, welcome. Klopp took time, but they constantly improved, and Klopp never got to a point where he had 28 points. In 29 PL games, you need to earn your time at a club like United. Yeah, I don't think Amorim necessarily has earned he's the manager for the next decade, but I still think it's too early to say, no, he's not the guy. The guy's literally had 1 summer with these players. I don't think anybody can tell at this point whether or not he's the guy or not. So, but he also, the onus is on him to show us if he is or not. It's not on us to decide. It's on him to show us. Danny says, yeah, Maguire, Shaw, Casemiro, Bruno, Maguire. Yeah, we still got Louis van Gaal signings. Like that's where we're at right now. Like it's a problem, y'all. It's a problem. It is a big problem. Are there fans calling for Unai Emery? Interesting. I didn't think people really liked Unai Emery. He's struggling a little bit too. The fans, and I try to ignore the fan stuff. Fans just they're very fickle. We are very knee jerk. We are very just emotional. We want what we want when we want it. And I think that's, there are already people calling for Amorim. There are people calling for Amorim out in preseason when we were struggling against like Hong Kong sides. And I'm like, it's fucking preseason. Like, really? Is this where we're at right now as modern fans in football? Like this, it's ridiculous, dude, for real. Rashford still is a United player technically. It's funny, right? It's just a funny little world we live in. We can't seem to get it sorted, can we? Mark Harris says Emery would sack that midfield. I mean, we've only got 4 midfielders. No one's coming in for Casemiro. Ugarte, all these midfielders were signed before Amorim got here. Mainoo is an academy graduate. I mean, it is what it is. Unless he literally strips Bruno of the armband, I don't know if he's going to necessarily drop him. I think he should, but I just don't know if he's going to. So we'll see what happens. But we do need for this system too, we need a midfield. I'm surprised Amorim hasn't pushed more for new midfielders, but he's trying to make it work. I just need to stop hearing the excuses of it's going to take time. It's going to take time, because how long is that going to be a valid excuse? It's not. You've got 3 new attackers. You've got who we got. We got a new goalkeeper coming in. You picked up Dorgu, who looks excellent, but we need to start seeing something. You've got time on the training pitch now. Again, to their credit, we do look a little better overall, but we need to get there faster, in my opinion. What else we got here? Trying to see what's going on. Danny says Carrick was the only one that dropped Bruno, I think. Trying to remember if Ten Hag dropped Bruno. I think there were probably games in domestic cups where Bruno didn't start, but I don't think he was ever just fully dropped. But again, I can't remember that far back to Carrick. That was a while ago. Danny says bring back Carrick. Bexy says I feel Amorim can do it, but he won't have time. He needs to be invested in this project and work overtime until he gets it right. He needs to address the Bruno situation ASAP. Yeah, and this is the thing too. Like, is nobody stopping Bruno and saying, "Hey, you good, bro? Like, anything going on? Anything you want to talk about? What's going on up here? Is anybody walking through some of these mistakes he's been making that are super uncharacteristics, honestly? Like, and saying, "What's up, man?" And it's up to Bruno in those moments to be honest with himself, be honest with Amorim, his teammates, and if he's not feeling the 6 role, then he either needs to fix up or we need to figure it out, and he needs to get fucked off. Like, there's simple solutions to a lot of these issues. It just takes somebody pulling the trigger at some point, which starts with a little bit of honesty, both with each other and with ourselves. And so it is what it is, man. Again, Bruno just looks like his head's just not in it right this second. So let's see what we got here. Lucky's getting all of his thoughts in. I do want players that play for the club, Lucky. That should be a bare minimum. Like, I don't have like complicated, extreme expectations for players. Just put in 110%, play for the badge. It's not that hard. It really isn't. Mark says, Fulham just walked through the midfield, disappeared in the second half. Big beatings coming. Yeah, and that's the problem that we've had since last year. We do get outnumbered, and we don't have the midfielders for this system. Amorim did fine at Sporting against big teams like City and stuff, we don't have the players for it. We've always lacked players historically the last since Fergie left. We've always lacked midfielders that had that robust physicality. We've had a lot of very technically sound midfielders like your Pogbas, your Brunos and whatnot. They don't necessarily have that physicality. And what we're seeing now in football these last couple of years in that midfield especially is a reversion to the physical all-around midfielder like you saw in like the 90s and stuff, like the Scholesy, the Keno, the physical box-to-box who can do a little bit of everything, the Rodri kind of guys. It's not enough now just to be I'm a 6 or I'm a 10 or I'm an 8. You have to be able to do it all. You don't have to be a 10 out of 10 every single week in all three of those kind of roles, but you have to be able to at least be like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 in 2 out of 3 of those, like in order to just hang in the modern game. Because sides like Newcastle, Liverpool, we saw Fulham, we're going to struggle, man. Even Wolves, I think, would push us around. Lucky, I hope we get a new keeper and a midfielder. We'll see what happens, though. He's a new fan. Lucky's got all the things. Mark says, when Amorim is fired, take Barada. Bruno, you don't want Barada? Barada was here before Amorim was, man. He can take Dallo. I would sell Dallo in a heartbeat. Orville said, there's been a constant that's existed throughout the many field managers, and that's Bruno. Makes you think. Again, I think that's dancing a little bit into oversimplification territory. I think that's probably one of those, correlation is not causation kind of thing. Because again, you could look at like what Bruno has done. He's been arguably the best chance creator in the Premier League since he showed up. I think there was just one season that he's been here where he wasn't the top chance creator in the league. And so I'm not saying that just means he's the best and he's undroppable. I'm just saying it's too easy to look at one little facet of a player, or even in this case, it's not just a correlation there and say, well, that's the issue. Because you could say that easily about Rashford too. Rashford's been through. You say that about Shaw. You say that about Maguire. You could say that about a lot of these players that have been here a while. And just, I think it's a little bit of an oversimplification personally. I think that the bigger issue has been that just the chopping and changing. And probably the bigger issue with that is just never really quite getting the right manager. All the manager appointments seem to be a little bit reactionary until this recent one. And it doesn't mean I think Amorim is 100% the guy, but it just seemed like too different. The managers were just always very different, and they weren't really fully backed. And even when we did buy players, it was always just players for that manager, and it just never worked. It just never worked. It's too bad. It really is. Let's see what you guys hear. The agendas. Yeah, the agendas are nuts. So we'll be keeping an eye, obviously, on our League Cup tie tomorrow against Grimsby tomorrow afternoon. We'll see what's going on with the team selection. I think that will tell us a lot about what's going on with Cobby. Don't forget, too, the women's team actually has a Champions League qualifier tomorrow morning against PSV Eindhoven. It's super early. It's like 6 a.m. I do think it's on MUTV. So if you guys get that, you can watch that. I don't know for sure if don't quote me. I want to say it is, because the club, typically when the club is promoting something like that, like follow along the action, it usually means it's on MUTV. It could be on like Paramount or something though too. I don't know off the top of my head, but so the women's team have a big match tomorrow. Then obviously we have our first League Cup match tomorrow. So we will see what happens there. We'll all be watching that, you guys. If you weren't able to catch the live, you guys, make sure you leave a comment. You guys know I do check the comments, but please make sure before you go. I saw you lurkers when Rob awarded those memberships. There are so many lurkers out there. Lurkers, make sure you subscribe, please. Make sure you like the video as well. Share it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. Go check out the new designs in the United vs. Everybody store. There is a link to the storefront pinned in the comment as well. But we will see you guys probably tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. If there's big news tomorrow, I'm probably going to go watch that match, so we might not be doing any sort of immediate match reactions, but we'll be here with big news as well. So why so early? Because they're traveling. I think it's in Sweden, so it's not in England or anything. So I don't know off the top of my head, though, but we'll see you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you, Rob, for gifting those memberships. And Rob, Always United, has been a member of the channel now for a month. So big up, Rob. Absolute legend. Absolute legends. All of you guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Later.